Wow, what is that?
Do you think all these bugs are around because it's getting a little bit warm?
What are Swarmkeeper Rangers? Swarmkeeper Rangers feel a deep connection to the environment around them. Some Rangers reach out through their magical connection to the world and bond with a swarm of nature spirits. The swarm becomes a potent force in battle, as well as a helpful company for the Ranger. Some swarm keepers are outcasts or hermits, keeping to themselves and their attendant swarms rather than dealing with the discomfort of others. Other swarm keepers enjoy building vibrant communities that work for the mutual benefit of all, those they consider part of the swarm.
Now, you see what Tasha's has done for the Rangers is not only have they made the optional subclasses features amazing for Rangers, which is what I'm going to talk about for most of this thing, like fuck the subclass. Sorry about language.
Mm-hmm.
But what they've also done is they've managed to take the Ranger, which sucked, and not only make it better, but then also amazing flavor.
Ah, I've never been a big fan of Rangers, but they just keep giving them these awesome subclasses with
It's
great
really
story.
fucking
You're
good.
like, this is
Yeah.
unfair. I now
Yeah.
want to play Rangers, god damn it.
Swarmkeeper, you take at level 3. Gathered Swarm. A swarm of intangible nature spirits has bonded itself to you and can assist you in battle. Until you die, the swarm remains in your space, crawling on you, flying, skittering around with your space. You determine its appearance and generate its appearance by generate by rolling on a swarm appearance table. Now listen, this says roll a d4, swarming insects, miniature twig blights, fluttering birds, or playful pixies. Come on, just make shit up.
I think you can come up with something cool.
Yeah, yeah. You could do a subclass, multi-class with a spore druid and have it as little mushrooms. It doesn't matter. But basically, once on each of your turns, you can cause the swarm to assist you in one of the following ways. Immediately after you hit a creature with an attack. The attack takes 1d6 piercing damage from the swarm, so extra d6 damage. Must succeed in a saving throw against your spell save DC or be moved by the swarm up to 15 feet horizontally in a direction of your choice. You are moved by the swarm 5 feet horizontally in a direction of your choice. All very cool.
Yeah, all of them are handy. All of that is handy at some point in time. I wouldn't just stick to the damage. I'd mix it up and do something different just to make it more interesting.
Yeah.
Third level, you also pick up Swarmkeeper Magic. You learn the Mage Hand cantrip if you don't already know it, which makes sense. Your swarm goes out, picks up the thing, and brings it back for you. When you cast it, the hand takes the form of your swarming nature spirits. You also learn an additional spell of first level or higher when you reach certain levels in this class, as shown in the Swarmkeeper table. Each spell counts as a ranger spell for you, but doesn't count against the number of spells you know. So third level, you're getting Fairy Fire and Mage Hand. At 5th, you pick up Web. At 9th, you get Gaseous Form. At 13th level, you pick up Arcane Eye. And at 17th level, you get Insect Plague. All tie into this great.
Amazing so far. And any particular favorites of those spells, Archie?
I do love the thought of Arcane Eye going around checking out things and coming back and reporting to you what the swarm found. But
Hell yeah.
what are you going to use more often than not? Fairy Fire probably is down there. It's easy to use and it's there. It's
got some
they're
pheromones.
they're gonna light creatures up from behind.
Yeah. Arcane Eye is what they use with the bug guy in Naruto to cheat in test papers in the Shin exam.
Cool. It's been a long time since I watched
quote me.
Naruto.
I don't speak Japanese. At level 7, you get Writhing Tide.
There you go.
Beginning at 7th level, You can condense part of your swarm into a focused mass that lifts you up. As a bonus action, you gain a flying speed of 10 feet and can hover. It lasts for 1 minute or until you're incapacitated, and you can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. So it lasts for a minute. You get a flying speed of 10.
Yep.
So if you're dashing, that's 20,
Mm-hmm.
and you get 10 rounds of that. So you can go 200 feet up in the air before they disappear.
Yeah, I see it as something before the fight starts, you get into a position, it puts you somewhere that you shouldn't have been able to get. Maybe the swarm flies you along the roof and then drops you up top somewhere, or allows you to clamber on and then holds you there while you shoot, or it maybe just takes you out of combat and you can shoot and pin it from above. Pretty handy.
And no concentration needed, which is a big thing.
Yeah, it really comes in handy. And then you move into Mighty Swarm at 11th level, where your gathered swarm grows mightier in the following ways. The damage steps up from a d6 to a d8. If a creature fails the saving throw against being moved by the swarm, you can cause the swarm to knock the creature prone. Very handy. And when you are moved by a gathering swarm, it gives you half cover until your next turn. So that's a +2 AC. Added in there as well that you can always have.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. That's pretty good. That's one of my favorite parts of it.
Yeah, I think it's a great little ability that just keeps building. The damage, on average, it's one more damage at level 11. Like it wasn't a big leap, but it's the other
No.
things stepped up more significantly.
Swarming Dispersal. This is the reason that this is going to be one of the highest played one-shot characters at level 15. When you reach 15th level, you can discorporate into your swarm, avoiding danger. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to give yourself resistance to that damage. You vanish into your swarm and then teleport to an unoccupied space within 30 feet where you reappear. You can use this proficiency bonus and regain all uses with a long rest.
Sure.
So cool. So cool.
It is Dracula when the bats come and take him, he disappears and forms up over the other side. It's that.
It's good that it's resistance to damage, because it would be abusable if it was avoid the damage completely. But hey, if you're doing a BBEG, this is great flavor for ability you can give them to just avoid all damage.
5 or 6 times. That's heaps.
That's crazy.
That's a good amount of times for a long rest to avoid that one strike that could have finished you off. Real handy and so thematic. They come and get you, and then they move around, and you're over here. It's exactly what they do in the Dracula movies. Like, it's the only time I can really like. That's where it's from.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, I love it. So talking about likes and dislikes of this, don't really have any dislikes. From where Rangers were to the optional subclass buffs, and then this subclass on top, it's far gone. Like, it's fun to play, thematically brilliant. It competes with damage, but the utility you get and the options you get every turn when you deal damage with an attack, which we're going to get back to in a sec because I need clarification on something.
Yep.
But I think this is one of my favorite subclasses of all time. Just the way they've put it together in the package, it's not overpowered.
No.
It's not underpowered. Thematically, it's brilliant. Instantly, you can identify with what you want this to be.
It's got so
As
much
soon as
flavor.
there's so much flavor, and as soon as you start talking about what type of swarm you want, so like if you go, okay, I want worms. Okay, what do I want? Worms. Oh, I could be a reborn. Okay, now I'm a reborn, like undead something that's come back for vengeance
Moths,
with worms,
bees,
star spawn,
spiders,
spiders.
just pixies,
golf
anything, hummingbirds,
golf balls. It doesn't matter.
butterflies, like
Butterflies.
anything is cool, and your relationship is what's going to really be what people remember about this character.
Yeah, and like then you take all your favorite references from Naruto and that, and you start learning things about pheromones and marking and fluorescent chemical reactions, and all of a sudden you start getting really into swarms. Your friends start worrying about you. Your wife leaves you. Then it's just you and the bugs. You and the bugs, as happy as can be. What could go wrong?
Hmm. Hmm. I'm not a big fan of Rangers. I was never really drawn to them. Third ed, they were just the dual wielding class. Never really got big into them, and then things like this come along and Fey Wanderer, and they are just jam packed with so much flavor. Someone's sitting there trying to push all this flavor in there, and it's like, come on, get any more freaking flavor in here? Come on, bring it around. Let's get some more flavor in it. They make such a great class. And I played one in a when I was a player on White Plume Mountain, and I had a great time. But one thing I did notice was that the damage didn't necessarily just directly and come easy and keep up. So I thought I'd just walk into it and I'd be doing the damage, and I noticed I wasn't doing the damage of the last ranger I saw, which was a Gloomstalker. So no, you are
Yeah,
not
those
you
are
are not a
dumb.
Gloomstalker.
They're
But
dumb.
you've got a lot of story and a lot of things going on here. You may not have the darkness, but you've got the swarm, and it's got a lot. It's got a lot more flavor. Darkness is just so bland. This is
It's
cool.
getting swarm here, so take off all your clothes. No, I'm with you in this.
It is
I love
very
this.
cool. Do you have a character concept for this? What would you
So
play
many,
if you were
so
playing
many.
this?
Like reborn undead druid that's
Mm-hmm.
come back.
Yep.
But no, actually, I wanted to get a ruling on this, so I'm
All
gonna
right. Take
1
me
minute
back.
for this. Now, going back to your once on each of your turns, this is for your gathered swarm.
Yes.
Once on each of your turns, sorry, this was playing in my mind. This is what
Yep.
ADHD does. While we've been having this conversation, I've been doing calculations, looking up rulings. Um, you can cause the swarm to assist you in one of the following ways immediately after you hit a creature with an attack. Now, with an
Mm.
attack, does that have to be your attack action, or could that be bonus action or attack or anything?
With an attack.
With an attack.
It's pretty open.
Okay. My concept is this:
Mm.
a 2 levels of the Spore Druid
Yep.
for Halo Spores. So now you can use your reaction to deal damage to them with an attack,
Mm-hmm.
which will then proc this so you can move them away and then attack them again from a distance. So I think there's going to be some fun interactions between the Swarmkeeper having the spores, because it actually says for the uh, Spore Druid,
Yep.
for Hail of Spores, you are surrounded by invisible necrotic spores that are harmless until you unleash them on a creature nearby. Then
Sounds like an
these
attack.
these mythical creatures or nature spirits are around you as well. So now we've got this massive halo of just rebirth and death and go on. This sounds perfect to me.
I think this is good, but the one thing I do notice is once per turn. So you only get to give that D6 or D8 damage once.
Oh yeah,
And
no,
that's
I'm not
it.
doing the
So I don't think that this is where you're not doing the damage that others are doing, where they always get like a permanent D8 or permanent to every attack, because yeah, you're only getting this once a turn. So that's probably the thing to note. Much like the Genie Warlock or many others, that you only get it once a turn, no matter how many attacks you get. Which means if you miss the first attack, it'll be on the second attack. But yeah, same with if you miss completely, then you don't get to use that insect cover, all the movement, or on yourself or other things, which is a bit of a shame. Seems like you should still be able to do that, even if you didn't hit the bad guy. But with my character concept, I played this one as a lizard man who was surrounded by butterflies. He got kicked out of his clan because they were just like, man, like, we can't have you coming into battle with butterflies everywhere. It's not our image. You're gonna have to go somewhere else. And no matter how many of these butterflies the lizard man ate, they just kept swarming him. They loved him. That's all butterflies knew, is we love this lizard man, and he just had to put up with these damn butterflies. And if he was just sitting still long enough, he'd just be covered in butterflies, all sitting there just flapping their wings. And then he'd just lick his face. Goddamn butterflies, get off me, you damn things. So it's the
There,
love-hate relationship with him, which I think
no survival checks needed for him.
he just keep eating butterflies. Very little energy out of eating butterflies. And that's going to roll into my player tips, I guess, which is just how creative can you be with your relationship to the swarm? Now, the swarm
Yeah.
isn't a physical thing because it's the nature spirits. So technically, it's not actually a physical bird, hummingbird, bug, rat, bee that's actually on you. Um, so that will stop the DM fireballing you and saying, "Well, you've got no swarm. If I kill them all, you're like they're spirits, so that didn't
Yeah.
actually do it." But I mean, that's up for you to build this relationship between you and the swarm and how the swarm and you interact. Are you like a Disney princess who can call birds from the forest and they come to her and help with the cleaning and
I
things?
do love the Disney princess
In
idea.
which case, what are the swarm's other uses? You've got Mage Hand for moving things around, so why can't the swarm sweep or do the laundry for you or cook meals? And you keep finding bugs, and you're like, God damn it! Did the Swarmkeeper arrange a cook dinner again? Just get him to stop that. I'm sick of having the fairies in my meal.
But, I think you need to decide what you're doing. If you're doing a damage build, then you're going to be focusing on dexterity as your primary to get the hits in, get the damage. If you are trying to actually move them at an early level and fairly guaranteed success, so like what I'd be thinking is something along the lines of the Spore Druid thing. Use
Mm,
your action to cast Spike Growth, use your reaction to hit them, deal the damage they can't block, and then they do a save throw and potentially get moved across the Spike Growth.
15
Cheese
feet.
grater method.
Yeah, that's a good
Um,
one.
so I like that, but if you're doing that with a dex build and low wisdom, the chance they're going to pass that strength save and not be dragged 15 feet across and get all cheese grated up is going to be very low. So you want to actually build your attributes to what you want to do. I feel like this is one of those ones that although you're only doing 2 stats, you really want to focus wisdom and get that high first.
Mm,
If you're doing utility and Vicky Versa for the dexterity if you're going damage, and don't forget your optional class features. God damn it!
yeah, yeah.
They're
Okay, check
they
Tasha's
give
for
you
those.
additional spells.
Check Tasha's
That's
for
what
those.
Tasha's the patron saint of rangers and monks. 100%. Praise be her name. And come on,
Yeah.
do it.
Then I guess for DMs, you just have to be aware that this person has specifically chosen this class to have a relationship with this swarm. It is their familiar. It is their animal companion. And it is a very unique animal companion, swarm, or buddy sort of
Yeah.
relationship. So you've got to be receptive as to what the PC wants to do with this swarm entity. If you just keep saying no, 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 well, they're going to go, well, you cut me off left, right, and center here. The person wants to grow with the swarm and be part of this or be surrounded by it or they live in its clothing, they come out, however they're addressing their swarm keeper. Like, you need to let them play that up and just find out what things the character can do with it inside and outside of combat with using their swarm.
Yeah. 100%. And like allowing the player to have agency in his swarm and understanding his desires, that's huge.
Mm,
Um, so I think you hit the nail right on the head with that one. I'm going to actually just say,
yep.
uh, be very prepared for this to come out in one shots, and when it does, have a good talk to them about two things. One, how they're going to play their character and their relationship, which is what you talked about,
Yep.
but also visually how it looks. Like, are you going to be something that's repulsive in a town, a reborn with maggots that crawl out of your mouth and around your nose, like disgusting, like, hey, you're a hero. But when people look at
Mm,
you, they shudder, and you
yeah.
give them maybe even go to their stat sheet and go disadvantage on persuasion, advantage on intimidation, that sort of relationship where you change their sheet or like ask them if they want to do something like that, work with them.
Yep.
Because I think visually this can be a very daunting subclass if it's not controlled. The Naruto guy looks very normal until he starts doing his bug stuff.
Mm,
Whereas if you're talking a reborn sheriff with maggots that come out of his eyes as he's talking to a shopkeep and asking them,
yeah.
where the little girl he needs to go save is,
Mm. Whereas my lizard folk, who was coming leaping into battle, being surrounded by butterflies as he came falling down upon people, all these butterflies would land on him and pick him up
Yeah.
and fly him through as he was shooting. Like, yeah, how does it look and come across? Is it positively received? Is it the rats, like the rat keeper in a Suicide Squad and things like that, or is it kind of negatively received? What
Yeah.
and what's that do to their relationship with that swarm?
My first thought when I saw this subclass was Rat King, like the New York urban legend where it's like in the manholes, all the rats came together to mate and they all get tied
Yeah.
up together.
Mm-hmm.
That was my first thought. And then I was like, I could do better. It's very cool though.
So
But
much
yeah, don't
flavor.
limit yourself. So
So
much
much flavor.
flavor. It's unbelievably good. Give it a go.
Yeah, definitely worth. If a one shot comes up, have a look at this one. It could be a lot of fun, particularly if it's
And
high
also,
enough level.
I don't want to quote Brennan Lee Mulligan, but get in the comments and tell us if you think I should be able to use the reaction of the Spore Druid to proc the Gathered Swarm's ability. So the terminology on this is once on each of your turns, you can use the Swarm to assist you in one of the following ways immediately after you hit a creature with an attack. Now, using the reaction of Halo or Spores, does that constitute an attack? And let us know what you think. But regardless, I'm going to fucking do it because it's a game.
Have some fun. All right, Mitch, thanks again for joining me. And I see you've locked up there. Anyone else, thank you for listening. I
Roll
hope.
the credits and some 70s action music.
I hope you're enjoying these reviews we do. We've only got a few subclasses left, so we've got most of them done from Tasha's. And if you're interested in having us continue, let us know what you want to see. If you want to see a particular class that we haven't done yet, put it in the comments and we'll see if we can fast track that one for you. Finding that we do a lot of other reviews and things on this channel, so check out. It's all about D&D. And
Love D&D.
if you can, get a character sheet and come join us at the table. We'll
And
see you next time.
go see the fat dragon in the D&D movie. Go see it.